family and almost like the leek and chive family as well. So let me just heat this up really good. Everybody, I have my son Chris filming tonight, and he does an excellent job. So I'm sure at the end you will say he was really good. So he's getting a lot of practice in with me. Okay, so I'm just gonna chop these up small, and I'm gonna talk as if I'm doing the whole recipe, but I am making a smaller amount because I can't keep up with this, with doing this every single night. So I'm just gonna put the shallot in now. If anybody has any questions, comments, please put it in, and my son will get it and read it to me. And then at the end, what we'll do is we'll unmute everybody. And if you have questions or comments, please feel free to ask me anything you like. Okay. So cut these the long way, down like that. Just give it a little turn, and then just chop it really small. So 3 shallots for this recipe here. And then I'm going to add in some fresh garlic. Garlic, I'm going to use about 4 cloves. Never put garlic in the oil first, because what will happen is if you go away for a minute, it can get toasty and really turn it burnt and throw that flavor off. So let's just get this in here. Okay. And I'm going to add about 4 teaspoons or 4 cloves of the chopped garlic. Now, Longwood, you guys all live really close to the garlic farm in Riverhead, so there's no reason why you shouldn't go there and get that really good fresh garlic there. The Garden of Eve, I see it all the time. Going by I was by the farm stands today. I was out in Southold and then Mattatuck, so hit some farm stands on the way back. So we're just going to saute this until about 5 minutes, gets nice and soft. So I'm going to cook this pretty much on high temperatures tonight, so this way we can move it along a little bit. I'm using a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. The brand that I am using, it's called Muir Glen. They're organic tomatoes, and they're fire roasted, and they have so much flavor. Now, as I'm cooking this here, I'm just going to tell you, my son and I have been doing classes virtually in different countries. We've been doing them in Italy. We've been doing them in Santorini, Greece, where this recipe is from. And we are doing some, we have one in India, we have Turkey, and then we also have Hungary. And we're going to make some chicken paprikash. That's at the end of August that we're doing it with somebody in Hungary. So we're really enjoying this, to make it, as enjoyable as you possibly can while we are not in the libraries. And hopefully a program like this does bring joy to you guys too, as well. Okay, so this is getting nice and soft here, is which I want. I'm going to go over the shrimp. One of the things about the shrimp, whenever I was in the restaurant business or a personal chef, I never wanted to leave the tails on. Because to me, the tails, yes, they look pretty, but when they're in a cream sauce or a red sauce, it's very messy to eat. So you get a lot of either patrons or people from the restaurant that would not want to have them just because of it. And people would get to know when I had the restaurant that, oh, you go in there, everything's pretty much easy to eat. So that's the way I would always do it. So I am going to do the same way right here, just taking these tails off. I'm seeing that the shallots and the garlic is nice and soft. So I am going to add in that 28-ounce can of the diced tomatoes. If you only have the whole tomatoes, don't go out to the supermarket, okay? Just use what you have, crush them up with your hands, and it will be fine. Okay, going to let this cook really well. This is going to have some really, really great flavor in it, okay? I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt and black pepper, about 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. And a couple twists of the fresh ground black pepper. Going to add in some cumin. I'm adding about a teaspoon of cumin. Cumin will give it a really nice smoky flavor. You don't want too much of it, so a teaspoon is just perfect for this amount. Okay. I'm going to add in a half teaspoon of the red pepper flakes, but I want to warn everybody, with the red pepper flakes, they are very spicy, okay? It gives off a lot of heat. So if you're not a heat person, maybe just put in a quarter or just a couple flakes in there, okay? When I do these classes at the library, I typically just put a couple flakes in there because the majority would probably be, I don't want too much heat in there. So I try to please as many as I can at the library. Okay, and now the last thing I'm going to put in the sauce here is 1 tablespoon of honey. So I'm just going to drizzle this in here. I have a pretty big jug. This is from when I was doing the library classes, and I would go through about 2 of these a week. Okay, so as you can see, it's getting a little, you know, where it's kind of congealed up. If you put this in some warm water, in a bath of warm water, just like this, it will just start loosening up in about 20 minutes. You'd be able to kind of whisk it and it would come right back to life, okay? So let's bring this to a boil. And on the recipe, I would tell you to cook this 15 to 20 minutes, but I don't think you want to sit there and watch this cook 15, 20 minutes. So I'm going to cook it pretty high. And I don't think my son's going to want to keep that camera on this 20 minutes straight.
Never.
God bless him. Okay, so we're going to let this cook for a little bit. I'm going to go over a little bit about the shrimp. I'm using the size 15 to a pound shrimp. Okay, when you're using shrimp, always buy the shrimp that are not cooked. If you buy the shrimp that are cooked, expect them to have a very watery texture to it. Try to buy white Gulf shrimp. They are some of the best shrimp. You will pay the price for them, but they are excellent shrimp. The tiger shrimp, some restaurants like to actually advertise that it's tiger shrimp, but sometimes the tiger shrimp are not of the best quality. Sometimes you'll get a very good one, but sometimes they're not of the best quality, okay? So your best tasting shrimp will be in between the size 15 to 30. So if you're buying that 8 to 10 to a pound, they could be a little tough and not have as much flavor. And then if you buy the little popcorn ones or the little ones that you put in a salad, those tend to be a little more watery. Okay, so again, cook them yourself. Really, really important. Okay, I'm just going to let this reduce down for a minute. While this is reducing down, I just want to show everybody, I used to be a personal chef, and I used to make some very fancy dinners for the couple I worked for. They used to own the Yellow Book. The man created it years ago. I worked for him and his family for 15 years and doing all different type fancy dishes. And when I would do like a steak or prime rib or filet mignon, I'd always like to dress the plate up. So I would take a potato just like this, and then I would take this apple core. This is a metal apple core. I would stick it right about halfway to 3/4 of the way, put in this little gadget, and now I'm just going to take a very sharp knife, and my sharp knife is staying on the metal as I twist around here, okay? And then what I do is I just push it off, and then I have a mushroom potato. Now what would I do with this? I would take some olive oil, kosher salt, and black pepper, and I would roast it in the oven, in the 400 oven, for about 40 minutes, okay? So it would look just like this. So if you buy one of these apple cores, they have them at all the stores. You go to like a Target, a Walmart, Amazon, they all have it. Okay, so I am just gonna put this down here. Okay, so what I am gonna do with this now is I am going to add the shrimp in here. Now, on your recipe, it says 1.5 pounds. And use like a good large shrimp. Again, if it says about 15 to 18 to a pound, that would be perfect. One of the popular ones in the supermarket is the 21 to 25, and that is also just fine. And as far as how long to cook it, it can be up to 12 minutes, but it can cook as quick as 6 minutes because it depends on the size shrimp you're using. Make sure you get any of that water off of it if you defrosted them. I always get people at my class saying, "Where did you get your fresh shrimp?" And I always have to be honest, and I say they are not fresh shrimp. You will not get fresh shrimp around here. Okay, you have to go to the Gulf of Mexico to get some fresh shrimp. So if you go to a fish market, all they did was conveniently defrosted it for you. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna let these shrimp cook for a little bit. I want to get them cooked all the way through. As soon as they have a little pinkness to them, they will be done. I'm going to put just a little bit of oregano on here. If you're not an oregano fan, and not everybody is, you can lighten up on it. But you can do up to 3/4 teaspoon of the oregano. And just a little hint of this. Now, we did this class in Santorini, Greece, probably about a month ago. And what we do is we teach them a dish and then they teach us a dish. So I think you're really going to like this. We also did a tomato fritters where you almost make like a zucchini type. If you made a zucchini pancake, it would be almost like a tomato pancake. So really, really tasty. Okay, let that. I just want to see that they get pink all the way through. And then what I will do is soon I'll turn on this oven here. I have this little portable oven right here. And I'm going to turn it on broil. I'm going to get it really hot. And then I finish it off by adding some feta cheese on top. Okay. And always when you're doing a dish like this, make sure the pan is oven proof, because I can take this pan and put this right into the oven, just like that, which is really great. But the one thing you always want to make sure you remember that this is always going to be very hot. So always make sure pot holder or, a towel you have right by it. Okay. Any questions out there, Chris?
Nope. Don't see any.
No? Okay. If questions, comments, please send them in. Okay. And I'll be more than happy to answer them for everybody. Before I go on to the next dish and then come back and finish this one, I just want to let you know about my Facebook. It's Simply Creative Chef Rob, and that is my Facebook page, and I will put up my schedule, and you can go on there now and you will see my schedule for the rest of the week, and each week we put it up there. Okay. And before we go tonight, I will tell you some of the different libraries and dishes we will be doing, okay, this week. I can really smell this flavor. It has so much flavor going through it. So while this is cooking, I'm going to turn on my other burner. I'm going to make some homemade croutons. This is one of my son's favorite. Okay. Yep. So at the end of the class, he will be picking on these. Okay, I'm just going to add some extra virgin olive oil in here. Good to have it in a squeeze bottle, because if you put it in a squeeze bottle, you don't overpour, and you know how expensive extra virgin olive oil is, right? So I'm just taking some really good ciabatta rolls, and I'm just going to cut these into little croutons. You can never throw out any bread, because fresh croutons is so much better than the store-bought, and you can season them the way you would like. And then just turn it around just like this. You want to make sure that oil in the pan is hot before you toss them in.
Someone said their husband and them made the Panzanella salad for dinner tonight, and it was so delicious, especially the croutons.
Now, did you do that at a class that I was at, or you got the recipe online and you made it ahead of time? If you can let me know, okay?
And someone else said it looks delicious.
Thank you, thank you. So what I am going to do is I am going to turn this shrimp off because I do want to start focusing on the croutons. So I am going to turn on my portable oven right here.
They said they saw your online class.
Oh, okay. Very good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Okay, I'm going to turn this oven on pretty high. Get that plug in there. Okay, turn this on really high. I'm gonna put it up like a 400-degree temperature. Now, before I put this pan in there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle some feta cheese on here. Take this spoon right out of here. Okay, put some feta cheese right over it. And if you wanted to put a little more of the oregano, you could. But this, just like this, will taste excellent. Okay, I'm going to leave this burner off. And as soon as this gets really hot, I'm going to put this in this oven right here. And then at the end, I'm going to turn the broiler on and get it really nice and crisp and bubbly. Okay. Okay, that oil should be nice and hot. If you don't want to kind of toss them in the pan, you could bake the croutons as well. But just do the same thing. A little olive oil, kosher salt, black pepper. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on these, keep tossing them around just like that. But I am going to add some kosher salt in here and a little black pepper. And that really does bring out the flavor in this. So while these are cooking, I'm going to start making my panzanella salad. The panzanella salad, I started adding some of the spring mix to it because sometimes it can be a little heavy with just the real chunky vegetables and then the croutons. So I lighten it up with a little bit of the spring mix, just like this. So I'm going to make the salad first, and then I'll start with the dressing. I'm using the plum tomatoes. The plum tomatoes are like chef's favorite tomatoes. The reason is they hold up really well. I know at Longwood Library, we did a stuffed tomato class there, I think last year around this time. And I think everybody went home with like a dozen tomatoes or 10 tomatoes. The one thing about these tomatoes, always make sure that they are face down. Face down means the moisture will not get in that stem right there, and they will last a lot longer. Try to buy the local now that the local are out because the flavor is so much better. Never refrigerate the tomatoes because refrigerating the tomatoes, there is no taste, okay? Even the best tomato will not have any taste out of the refrigerator. The only time I say to put it in the refrigerator is like if you were going away for a couple days and you don't want it to go bad on you, put it in there. But before you do enjoy it, make sure you take it out and bring it to room temperature. Okay. My son Chris is saying we have a question.
Yep, someone asked, how much feta do you put in that dish?
How much feta? I added about 3/4 of a cup. Okay, and that is for 1.5 pounds of shrimp. Okay, you could do less, you could do more. You could do this dish without it as well. Okay. This is nice and hot now. So I am just going to have this right in here. And I do have to keep it open, but I will put it on the broil so this way it starts bubbling too. Okay, so with my spring mix in here, I'm just going to cut up this tomato. If you have a really good sharp knife, these are offset serrated knives. They're excellent knives. I used to have a German man that came into my restaurant and he would sell them. His name was Ludwig Schiff, and his daughter still sells them. So 7-inch off serrated knife. I bought about 10 of these in the 80s, and they were $18. I bought about 6 of them about 3 years ago, and they're $45. But a lot of time has gone by, so it's still a pretty good deal. Okay, I'm just going to lower this a little. I don't want the croutons getting away from me. Okay, I want them nice and crisp. Okay, I'm going to add some yellow and red peppers to this. I like to take the pepper and not actually cut it this way, because if you have a dull knife for that, you could slip very easily. So I actually like to take the inside and just go just like that, because you actually have little ridges there, and the knife kind of grabs onto it nice and easy. So, and I want to make this salad really, really colorful, because in the summer and spring, you always want a lot of colors. That was one of the things when I was in the restaurant business that was very important to me, making sure that everything looked really appetizing. And I carry that as well into the library too.
Someone said that this dish would probably be good with Parmesan cheese if you don't like feta.
Absolutely. Yep, that would be really, really good. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to put in some red onion now. Red onion, make sure the outside of it is really nice and firm, really solid. That means it's nice and fresh. I always tell people at my classes, whenever I'm doing fresh vegetables, never go to the supermarket the day after a holiday, because what usually happens is you get what they didn't sell over the weekend. So if you go after July 4th weekend and you go on Monday or Tuesday, you are still getting some of the vegetables that were there on Thursday or even Wednesday of the week before. So kind of let that sell down and then go back when you are ready. Some red onion, just going to sprinkle this on here. You can see those colors really coming out. And now I'm going to use some English cucumber. English cucumber are so good. They really hold up well in dishes. You can scoop the seeds out. They're tiny little seeds, but nothing that you have to do it almost like the local ones, the ones that have like that eggplant skin. So you can leave it just like this. And I'm going to cut this into cubes as well. Put this in. I like to put some of the heavier vegetables around the outside. That way it doesn't weigh down my nice spring mix that you want to be kind of fluffy in it. Okay, these croutons are looking just like they are done. Okay, that is good. You see how that is there. Okay. Now I'm going to make the dressing for the Panzanella salad. This dressing has so much flavor. So whenever you're involved making this dressing, please make extra, because you can make this salad the next day and have the dressing in there. It will last a good week, okay? Put it in a squeeze bottle. It's really good on sandwiches too, with the Dijon mustard in there. Okay, so I am going to add, it calls for champagne vinegar. Champagne vinegar, about the last 8 years, is very, very hard to find. You can get it, but you might have to go to like a Whole Foods. You may have to go on Amazon, but this is just as good. The white wine vinegar, not white vinegar, but white wine vinegar. And look for a good brand. This Roland brand, I think, is very, very good. Okay, so just gonna put in this vinegar here. About 3 tablespoons worth. That's good. I'm going to add in some black pepper and some kosher salt. Kosher salt, about 3/4 teaspoon. And then a couple twists of the black pepper. That's good. Now some Dijon mustard. Any type of the Dijon mustard would work good. I only need about a 1/2 teaspoon, but if you do like your mustard, which I do, You can add it up to a teaspoon of it. That will be fine. And about a half cup of the extra virgin olive oil. And then you can just gradually whisk this around really well. So if you do find the champagne vinegar, you could pay up to $10 for a small bottle. But the white wine vinegar you can get in a regular supermarket, probably $4 for a good quality one. Okay, that is about a half of a cup right there. Okay, good. I'm going to take these croutons that we made from scratch. I'm going to toss them on the side of this salad right here. Put this on the burner I'm not using. Now take this vinaigrette. You can hear those croutons sizzling, right? And always be careful because they are very, very hot. But this salad will have so much flavor, and I promise you we'll make this again and again. Now, if you want to change this and you want to make this into a Greek Panzanella salad, which would go really nice with this dish, you could add a little bit of feta cheese in here. And then in the dressing, you could add a little bit of oregano as well.
Someone said they have a red wine vinegar, and they said it's old and tastes a little weird. Does it go bad?
It will give it a very off taste. You will not get sick from it, but it will have a very off taste. And vinegar is so inexpensive. And that is one of the things the supermarkets really didn't run out of this year. You certainly can go get that as well. Yeah, I would start with a new bottle.
Someone asked, what's the difference between table salt and kosher salt? Does it even matter?
Kosher salt is very coarse, and yes, it does matter. When you are roasting vegetables, if you're putting it on a steak before it comes out, since it's a little coarser, it will bring out that steak flavor. And when you're roasting the vegetables, it will bring out that carrot or broccoli that you're really trying to use up. I tend to use the table salt more in just baking, okay? So this is our Panzanella salad. I am going to show everybody something else while that shrimp is waiting. Since it's a small oven, portable oven, and I have the door open, it takes a little longer, but that is okay because I have other things for you. I'm going to show everybody a little quick dessert that is absolutely perfect for the summertime, especially if you're having a little bit of company over. And I mean a little bit of company, right? That's what we're supposed to have, right? So it's called the Campfire Banana. I've done this in my children's classes with the real little guys. I have kindergartners. I even have preschoolers that come. And I just want to show everybody this. And then my son says, we have a question.
Well, someone said that it looks great, and do you deliver DoorDash?
DoorDash, huh? Sounds like my other son, because my other son has been doing some DoorDash during these times. And he probably just wants the job to go deliver to somebody out there. Okay. So everybody, I'm just going to take this banana. If you don't want this to get ripe as this is here, and I did want it to get this ripe, all you got to do is take a little piece of aluminum foil, put it right on here, and if you just bought green bananas, that banana will not go any further. It will just slow down it from getting yellow and then into this color here. So what I tend to do is when I buy a bunch, I leave about 4 or 5 of them down in the basement, put a little of these things on here, or plastic wrap works as well, something like this, like these poly gloves that I have, or saran wrap. You just need that little tip there, and then and it's nice and cool downstairs. I leave 2 upstairs, and they tend to get ripe very quickly. So for this Campfire Banana, I am going to split this right down the middle. And then I'm just going to pop that open. Put that in there just like that. And now I have some mini marshmallows. When I do this at the library with the kids, I tend to bring my small oven with me because they don't want to wait for the barbecue at home. They want to eat it right away. So let me put in these mini marshmallows right here. Little semi-sweet chocolate chips, but of course, if you like dark chocolate or if you like the milk chocolate, that would be fine. And you just need a few. I'm going to put in some graham cracker crumbs. You can always just buy graham crackers and then just kind of break them up yourself. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do with this is just drizzle a little bit of caramel right on here. It's sounding good to you out there, right? Okay, so now what I would do is kind of tent this aluminum foil right around the banana. And now I could go outside and I can go put this right on the barbecue. And what'll happen is these marshmallows get nice and toasty. The chocolate and the caramel and the marshmallow go right into the banana and it tastes so good. Just be careful though when you take it out because the marshmallows, they really hold that heat, but it'll burn your mouth. Let it sit for a few minutes. But this, with a little bit of ice cream on the side, would be really, really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that right by that Panzanella salad. I'm checking on my shrimp. Just turning it over that way. Okay. Let's see if I can close that up a little bit better. Okay. Now, I'm going to show everybody a different vegetable. Everybody will be getting zucchini now. They're plentiful out there at the farm stands. Summer squash as well. I just want to show everybody a vegetable that I absolutely love to make. Always make sure with the summer squash, you scrub it really good. Make sure you get it really clean. This is called a crook neck squash, just because of the way it kind of has a crooked neck. Okay, and then the other one, of course, would be a straight neck. So I'm just going to cut these little ends off right here. I love the yellow squash. Yellow squash is great. Doing this recipe, you could always do the summer squash and the zucchini. I'm just going to make a few of these just to give you the idea. So I'm going to put 4 right in here. I'm just going to take a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Put it in there. And now what I want to do is just kind of toss it around. Don't try this at home, okay? My son is even standing back. He doesn't trust Dad. Okay. Now just a little bit kosher salt, just a pinch. And a little bit of the fresh ground black pepper. And then probably, if you were doing 1 zucchini or 1 summer squash, maybe a cup's worth to maybe a little less of the panko. Panko is the Japanese breadcrumbs. It is really white bread without the crust and just toasted. But if you are frying fish, you're frying chicken, or doing vegetables with it, it really holds that crunch really well. Where the regular breadcrumbs comes out crispy and then it just starts to go away, that crispiness. So I'm going to add some of these panko in here. Okay. And then just a little bit of fresh thyme leaves. Fresh thyme has almost like a little lemony, almost an earthy type of taste. Just kind of pull them down just like that and just drop them in. And then I am going to take some Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Of course, this is the best grated cheese that you can buy. In the clubs, it's about $9 a pound. If you go to the regular supermarket, it's probably like $12 or $13 a pound. So I am just going to grate about a 1/4 cup. And this does have so much flavor. Okay, that is good. Let me just throw on a glove so I don't get oil all over my hands. See, even at home, I go through a lot of gloves, right? Okay, just mix this up really well, just like that. And now what I would do is just put this on a sheet pan and just kind of place them like this. And now you're going to find at the bottom of the sheet pan that there is a lot of the crumbs with the cheese in it. Don't waste that. Kind of just go around and top them all off. Okay. This goes really good next to a steak, next to seafood, next to chicken, anything like that. Pork and beef prices have come back down to earth finally, which is good to see. It was really sticker shock seeing regular chopped meat for about $9 a pound. Unbelievable. So now what I would do is just drizzle just a little bit of melted butter. Since I'm not going to eat these right now, I'm not going to put it on, but just drizzle about a tablespoon's worth of butter on this. Put it in a 375 oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. They come out golden brown. You will absolutely love the taste of these. And if you do the zucchini and then the yellow squash, zucchini, yellow squash, you can kind of fan it out on a plate, make it look really pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that right there. Now, this, of course, would be the butter that I would be melting down. The one thing, and I do a lot of baking classes, and from what I understand, a lot of people are baking at home now. Something good to do and having a lot of fun doing that. But always watch the butter, make sure that it doesn't stay in the refrigerator too long. If you notice like different shades of coloring on the butter, little dark spots, then it's a little lighter, a little darker, that means your butter is getting old, okay? So be careful with that. So watch the dates and watch that you keep it very, very cold. If you're not going to use it for a while, stick the sticks in the freezer and they last great, okay? They really, really do. Okay, so I am just going to take this out right here, okay, and show everybody what it looks like. If I have it in a, my regular oven, this is going to be bubbling really good. And again, this flavor is so good. So this is our Santorini Greece shrimp and tomato feta dish. This is our Panzanella Salad. This is our Campfire Banana. And our summer squash with the Japanese breadcrumbs, which is the Panko, and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Yeah.
Someone asked if you can use eggplant instead.
Eggplant for it, yeah. What I would maybe do is just kind of take the skin off it because it kind of can get very chewy. Okay, so I would kind of take that off, but absolutely, they would come out really good.
They meant for this, like this one here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, instead of the summer squash or the zucchini, yes, that works really good. And you could even kind of fan that out and layer it, and you could even do the same, put some tomatoes as well. You could take these squash right here and some tomatoes, and you could actually just put it right onto a chicken breast and bake it in the oven and have the tomatoes and the chicken with the panko and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Really, really tasty. Chris, do you want to open it up for some questions?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
And the one thing I want to do with this shrimp dish, I want to chop up some fresh mint leaves, okay? And I'm just going to put that right on top of this dish right here.
Someone asked if they can, if you put it on something like pasta or rice, the shrimp and tomatoes.
Absolutely. It would be really, really good on pasta or rice.
And they asked, where are the croutons?
Where are the croutons? They are right in this salad right here. You can see them right here. They're kind of tossed all in here. Okay. A different way to do this salad, instead of doing the croutons, if you take the sesame breadsticks and just kind of break them up and add them in here. That could be your crouton. And you don't have to go through the whole mess of kind of browning them all. So if you like the sesame seed breadsticks, that would work really good. Now with this panzanella salad, I could add capers to this. Capers have a little salty flavor to it. If you added the capers to it, make sure you rinse them really well, because rinsing them will get some of that salt off of it. So that is an option whether you want capers in there or not. And also you want to put in some beautiful fresh basil. Look at this basil. This is from a local farm stand. And always keep it in some water just like this to keep it fresh. Always take, almost like, you know, the little produce bags that you buy and you put the basil in when you're coming home, kind of cover it with it, okay? Put the bag around it, and it acts like a greenhouse for it, and it will stay fresh. Never put the basil in the refrigerator. Okay? If you put it in the refrigerator, it will turn black on you right away. So when you are cleaning the basil, you want to take a damp towel and just kind of pat it down a little bit, and then take a paper towel and pat it dry. Because if you get too much water on here, it is not going to hold up well, and it will throw off a different taste. So if you cook basil or if you wash it, it's going to have a very bad taste to it. So just kind of wash this just a little bit. I like to stack the leaves almost like this.
Someone asked if you could put the basil in the freezer.
In the freezer, what I would do, you can shrink wrap it, but you can also go ahead and maybe make a pesto and put them in like little ice cube trays. Take it out as you need it. But I'm not a fan of the basil in that. I kind of say, all right, I got all this basil. Let me make some pesto, bring it into tomorrow night's dinner just like that. So I am just going to chop up this basil right here. And then you could put that right on here as well. If you want to make this a little heartier, of course, you can add some chicken or shrimp to this panzanella salad. There's no rules to it, okay? So you can change it around a lot. So please, if anybody has any questions, let me have them. Again, thank you to everybody at Longwood. Jill, always great. Your whole library always treats me so good, from the custodians to security to the children's department with Tiffany and Kim. You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob. We love you.